Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to talk about symptoms of fuel pump failure in a car. We will also find out what a fuel pump is, and the primary functions of fuel pump in a car. But before we continue, hit the subscription button and turn on the notification bell so that you will be the first to see my video once it drops. Let us begin. A fuel pump is a crucial component of a car's fuel delivery system responsible for transferring fuel from the gas tank to the engine. It's typically located inside the fuel tank, submerged in gasoline to help cool and lubricate the pump. The primary functions of a fuel pump in a car include: Number 1. Fuel transfer. The fuel pump draws gasoline from the fuel tank and delivers it to the engine's fuel injectors or carburetor, ensuring a steady supply of fuel for combustion. Number 2. Maintaining fuel pressure. The fuel pump maintains the required fuel pressure within the fuel system to ensure proper atomization of fuel and efficient combustion in the engine cylinders. Number 3. Regulating fuel flow. By adjusting the speed at which it operates, the fuel pump regulates the flow of fuel to match the engine's demand, ensuring optimal performance under various driving conditions. Number 4. Preventing fuel vaporization. The fuel pump helps prevent fuel from vaporizing in the fuel lines, especially in hot conditions, by maintaining consistent fuel pressure and flow. Number 5. Assisting in engine startup. During engine startup, the fuel pump primes the fuel system by pressurizing the fuel lines and delivering fuel to the engine, facilitating smooth ignition and combustion. Let us look at the symptoms of a failing fuel pump in a car. Number 1. Engine sputtering at high speeds. When a fuel pump begins to fail, one of the common symptoms experienced by drivers is engine sputtering, particularly at high speeds. This phenomenon occurs due to inadequate fuel delivery to the engine cylinders, leading to combustion inconsistencies and ultimately causing the engine to sputter or hesitate. Here's a more detailed explanation of how engine sputtering at high speeds can be attributed to fuel pump failure. Number 1. Fuel pressure drop. A failing fuel pump may struggle to maintain the required fuel pressure within the fuel system, especially under high-demand conditions such as high-speed driving. As a result, the pressure may drop below the optimal level needed for proper fuel atomization and combustion. Number 2. Fuel starvation. With insufficient fuel pressure, the fuel injectors may not receive an adequate supply of fuel to meet the engine's demand during acceleration or sustained high-speed operation. This fuel starvation can lead to momentary fuel cut-offs or lean air fuel mixtures reaching the cylinders. Number 3. Intermittent fuel delivery. The fuel pump's performance may become erratic as it deteriorates, leading to intermittent fuel delivery. This inconsistency can cause the engine to sputter or hesitate at irregular intervals, especially when additional fuel demand is placed on the system, such as during high-speed acceleration. Number 4. Incomplete combustion. When the engine receives insufficient fuel due to fuel pump failure, combustion within the cylinders may become incomplete or uneven. This incomplete combustion results in misfires and irregular engine operation, manifesting as sputtering or jerking motions, particularly noticeable at higher speeds where engine demands are greater. Number 5. Loss of power. Engine sputtering due to fuel pump failure often coincides with a noticeable loss of power, especially during high-speed driving. The engine may struggle to maintain consistent performance levels, resulting in reduced acceleration, diminished throttle response, and overall poor drivability. Overall, engine sputtering at high speeds due to fuel pump failure indicates a significant issue with the fuel delivery system, necessitating prompt inspection and repair to ensure safe and reliable vehicle operation. Ignoring this symptom can lead to further engine damage and potentially dangerous driving conditions. The next is difficulty starting the engine due to a failing fuel pump. When a fuel pump begins to fail, difficulty starting the engine is one of the common symptoms experienced by drivers. This issue arises because the fuel pump is unable to provide the necessary fuel pressure or flow to facilitate smooth engine startup. Here's a more detailed explanation of how difficulty starting the engine can be attributed to a failing fuel pump. Number 1. Insufficient fuel pressure. A failing fuel pump may struggle to maintain adequate fuel pressure within the fuel system, especially after the vehicle has been sitting for some time. This can result in insufficient fuel being delivered to the engine during startup, making it challenging for the engine to ignite and run smoothly. Number 2. Fuel system priming. When you turn the ignition key to start the engine, the fuel pump is responsible for priming the fuel system by pressurizing the fuel lines and delivering fuel to the engine. However, a failing fuel pump may not be able to prime the system effectively, causing delays or multiple attempts to start the engine. Number 3. Extended cranking. Due to inadequate fuel delivery, the engine may require prolonged cranking to start, as it struggles to draw in enough fuel for combustion. This extended cranking time is often a clear indication of fuel pump issues, especially if it becomes a consistent occurrence. Number 4. Intermittent starting problems. In the early stages of fuel pump failure, difficulty starting the engine may be intermittent, occurring sporadically and inconsistently. This unpredictability can make diagnosing the problem more challenging but is often a precursor to complete fuel pump failure. Number 5. Engine stalling after startup. In severe cases of fuel pump failure, the engine may stall shortly after starting, especially if it initially runs rough or struggles to maintain idle. This can occur due to insufficient fuel supply to sustain engine operation, leading to a loss of power and eventual shutdown. The next symptom of a failing fuel pump is loss of power under load. Loss of power under load is a significant symptom of fuel pump failure, particularly when the engine is subjected to increased demand, such as when climbing hills, towing heavy loads, or accelerating rapidly. Here's a more detailed explanation of how loss of power under load can be attributed to a failing fuel pump. Number 1. Inadequate fuel delivery. When a fuel pump starts to fail, it may struggle to maintain sufficient fuel pressure and flow rate to meet the engine's increased demand under load. This inadequacy in fuel delivery means that the engine doesn't receive the necessary amount of fuel required for combustion during high-demand situations. Number 2. Fuel starvation. Under load, the engine requires a higher volume of fuel to produce the power needed for acceleration or climbing steep inclines. However, a failing fuel pump may not be able to supply fuel fast enough to keep up with the engine's demand, leading to fuel starvation. This results in a noticeable reduction in power output and performance. Number 3. Lean air-fuel mixture. In scenarios where the fuel pump is unable to deliver enough fuel, the air-fuel mixture becomes leaner, meaning there's an insufficient amount of fuel relative to the air intake. A lean mixture can cause combustion to occur less efficiently, resulting in reduced power and performance under load. Number 4. Engine misfires. As a consequence of inadequate fuel delivery, the engine may experience misfires under load. Misfires occur when the air-fuel mixture fails to ignite properly in one or more cylinders, leading to a loss of power, rough running, and potential engine damage if left unresolved. Number 5. Hesitation and jerking. When the engine doesn't receive enough fuel under load due to fuel pump failure, it may hesitate or jerk during acceleration or when climbing hills. This hesitation is caused by momentary fuel cutoffs or fluctuations in fuel delivery, resulting in an uneven and inconsistent driving experience. Number 6. Reduced throttle response. A failing fuel pump can also lead to reduced throttle response under load, meaning the engine may not respond as quickly or as forcefully to driver inputs. This sluggish response can make driving feel less engaging and may compromise safety, especially when overtaking or maneuvering in traffic. Overall, loss of power under load due to fuel pump failure significantly impacts the engine's ability to generate adequate power and performance when subjected to increased demand. Prompt diagnosis and repair of fuel pump issues are essential to restore proper engine operation and ensure safe and reliable driving conditions. If you enjoy watching my video, please hit the subscription button and do not forget to like this video. Thank you for watching.